The first thing you'll want to do is open Benchmark Universe in your myaps.edu account. This logs you in. Then you'll want to come back to Google Classroom and click on the specific benchmark readings that I've assigned to you there. After you've finished your readings, you'll want to click on the other link of the day to answer the questions that I have prepared for you. Hi, this is Dr. Adam here, and as usual, I'm joined by
Dean Adam.
And we're going to talk about today's language arts readings, which happen to be about
money and how to use it.
That's right. And there's a connection between these and the math lesson we had on Monday, which also had to do with counting and using money, among other things. One of the things we talked about, actually. So I want to jump into it by talking about that first book, which was called Our Money, and some of the things that we take away from that, some of the things we learned and some of the things we noticed about it. So there are a few different types of money. There are different ways to spend money, I guess. And what are some of the ones you could think about that were talked about in the book? And what else can you think of that the book doesn't mention?
It mentions credit cards, checks, and paper money. It doesn't mention coins or debit cards.
You're right. It says cash. It says sometimes my mom and dad use cash. But if you go to the next page, it breaks cash into two types of money, which is paper money and coins. Mm-hmm. So when it says, for example, when we park the car or when we buy a stamp and it shows coins, and that's usually included in cash. Cash can refer not only to the paper money, but paper money with coins, right? Yeah. And that's right. That's the toy money we have that I talked about in the math video, saying this is great because you get to practice multiplication.
And this is my wallet that I have here.
Yeah, and then you can use real money. So some of you guys get an allowance, and the good thing about having either the toy money or real money is you get to use math skills like fractions, right? Quarters of a dollar. A quarter is a quarter or a fourth of a dollar. $50 coin is literally half a dollar.
Multiplication.
That's right. So, for example,
we need multiplication to even understand what money is about.
Well, for example, if I have, how many fives do I need to make a 20?
You need 4 fives, and if we didn't understand multiplication, we would guess probably equals $15. But if we know multiplication, we understand multiplication, so we know that 4 times 5 equals 20.
I wouldn't say that they'll always get it wrong or that they'll always get a certain number wrong. What I would say is this, though. If you don't know the multiplication, you're stuck counting it out every time. So you got one $5 bill, that's 5. Another one, you go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's 10. And then you run out of hands, you go, how do you get to 20? And if you know multiplication, then you don't have to do that. You could really
It's much easier.
Much easier, yeah. It makes your life easier. You do use addition, though, also. If I have a $1 bill and a $1 bill, 1 plus 1 is 2. So there's some addition there. There's some multiplication.
There's a rare dollar called the $2 bill.
There's a rare bill called the $2 bill. And then, of course, there are the much bigger bills. They're like the $50 bills and they're the $100 bills. And, even if you're not using real money, if you're using play money, you can still do real things with it around the house. I
have $100, but I don't have a $100 bill.
That's right. The bills are kind of inconvenient. It's better to break things up into smaller things
exactly.
like ones and fives and stuff like that. So here we see, you got a lot of ones in here, man. You got to turn some of those into fives. So there's a 1 and a 5 right there.
You just said it was better to break it up.
Yeah, it's better to break it up, but it's better to break a $100 bill because it's rare.
Into like 5 20s.
But once you got 5 ones, you should change that to a $5 bill and only keep like 2 or 3 ones. You shouldn't have 7 or 8 ones. That's a lot of $1 bills right there. Yeah. But anyway, that's something you learn as you go along. Because if you have just a bunch of $1 bills, like you have 20 $1 bills, it's going to be a fat wall. It's going to be thick. It's going to be uncomfortable to hold on to and wear. But anyway,
you won't even be able to place it in your back pocket anymore.
Now, what would you tell some of your classmates if they said, well, you know what? I got play money at home, but I don't have an allowance with real money. Can you think of some creative ways we could use this and still understand the meaning of money? Because I can think of some.
learn multiplication better.
But using money to learn multiplication better, what if the parents and the students agreed that each of these is worth like a bowl of ice cream at home? And they give it to their parents, and their parents hold it. And then if they want to get any of this money back, they got to do things around the house like sweeping or vacuuming or something like that. So they could use the play money as real money just inside the house with their families, and they could use it for privileges inside the house like ice cream and cookies and stuff like that. So
and also, these dollar bills look so identical to the real dollar bills. There's no way that these dollar bills aren't made in the government.
no, they are much smaller. Hold up a real dollar bill so we can compare them.
Okay.
Because these do look very, very similar, but they aren't identical. So let's distinguish those words, similar and identical.
I have my $50 bill right here.
All right, so 50, and then we'll look at this 50 right here. See, the play 50 is much smaller than the real 50. So
it's like a quarter or
something like that. It's not quite as small as a quarter, but
it's like a quarter and eighth.
Maybe a third. I'd say maybe a third the size. So you could never take this to a store and trick someone trying to spend it, but you could certainly imagine that it's real money, and you could do fun things with that. Or again, like if you guys wanted to just bargain around the house for things, it would be a good way to think about multiplying and adding and even subtracting and dividing. So lots of benefits to playing with toy money. Now, let's get into actual stories that we read. And let's talk first about, well, we talked a little bit about our money. Let's go to the lemonade stand because there's some interesting stuff that happens in the story. And what does Vicky do? Vicky starts to, what is her plan? What is her ambition? What is her dream?
Well, so if you read the book, you'll understand that her dream is that she wants to earn money to buy some CD discs, flowers.
So Vicky, she wanted to do something to get money,
and to get that money, she it was a hot summer day. It was
Summer days are hot. Yeah, summer days are hot. People, what do people do when it's really hot? What does their body do? What is it?
They sweat a lot.
They sweat a lot.
They get inner global warmings.
People aren't globes, but they get body warming. And the sweat that comes out of them means they lose a lot of the liquid in their body. And how do they replenish that fluid? How do they get that fluid back into their body?
By drinking liquids such as lemonade.
Lemonade.
That's why Vicky set up a lemonade stand. So she could earn money and buy the CD player and flowers.
I don't think it was the player. I think it was just the CDs, the music itself, but not the player. I think the mom already has a player and she wants to get CDs for her and the flowers. But the point is, she wants to buy something. She needs more money than she has, and she decided to start a business. It doesn't have to be a lemonade stand. There are other ways you could start businesses to earn money. You could mow people's lawn for them. You could sell chocolates, which some of you guys have already done.
I have done that with one of my friends.
That's right. So there's a lot you could do to make money, but definitely opening up a lemonade stand is one of the ways to do that is among the most popular in the United States. So she does that. She opens up the lemonade stand. She's on her way to getting this money. What kind of people is she going to sell? Who's going to buy the lemonade? I know it's hot. I know it's summer. But what kind of people in particular does she have in mind?
Local sports teams sweat a lot when they're playing sports, especially when it's a very hot day. And mowing lawn takes a long time and it makes people sweaty as well. So they want to sell lemonade to those people.
Okay, so you're telling me that there are people mowing lawn in that neighborhood who are going to be thirsty after mowing the lawn because they're going to be sweating. And there's going to be sports games going on at the local park. And she knows that. And all those people are going to go watch the sports game in the sun. They're going to be hot in the sun. Not to mention the athletes actually playing the game. So all those people at the park for that game are going to be thirsty too. It sounds like a good business plan, a solid business plan. Well, so what happens? She sets up her lemonade stand, makes a lot of money. That's the end of the story?
Nope. She, after that, she tells Jamal, what business she's starting.
Well, who's Jamal? Now this
Yeah,
person set up this lemonade stand is Vicky, and Jamal is her neighbor, right?
Mhm.
And I think he's the same age as her, so they might be classmates too.
And also, Vicky told him that she was setting up a lemonade stand.
Mm-hmm.
And
If I remember right, he said, "Hey, that's a great idea. I'm going to do the exact same thing."
yeah, but not for her. Jamal's actually selfish because he's not doing this for his family. He's doing this for himself.
That's a good point. He wants to buy himself a remote control car, so
That flips and spins.
Mm-hmm. So that's true. He's not doing it for other people like she is. She's just thinking about her mom. He's doing it for himself. Selfish might be too strong a word, but he's definitely not as generous as she is in terms of thinking about what he can get for other people. So,
like one of my anime toys I'm gonna give to my friend after the quarantine.
right? And remember when your sister got 2 Beyblades with her allowance money, and she gave one to
Me.
Mm-hmm. So it's nice to get things for other people too, but it's okay to get things for yourself. I think what Jamal is thinking is this is an honest way to get money. Working to get money is honest, and that's a good thing. And so what does he do? Does he set up a different type of business, like a lawn mowing business?
No, he sets up the exact same thing.
You mean another lemonade stand?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, luckily they're far apart. They're in different cities, so they're not going to take away each other's business, right?
We just said that they're neighbors.
Oh, so their lemonade stand is right next to each other.
And they're competing.
Well, now neither of them is going to make as much business, but I'm guessing that if one of them has maybe a better sign or a better advertising slogan, that person will get more business. What does her lemonade sign say? I think if we go to it and look.
I know what it says. It's the classical lemonade stand. It's fresh lemonade, 25 cents.
That's right, fresh lemonade, 25 cents. Not a bad sign, but if you saw that sign, fresh lemonade, 25 cents, and you saw another sign that said, even better lemonade. Well, my guess is that if I was one of those thirsty people, either mowing lawns or going to that game in the park, I would probably buy the lemonade that says
better lemonade.
Better lemonade, yeah. Now,
yeah, but Jamal didn't try Vicky's lemonade, so he's being over competitive.
He's being very competitive with her. But I think she's competitive back with him. I think she does something after that. What does she do to her sign to change it?
She lowers the price. Nothing bad. She just lowers the price. Oh wait, it is bad.
Well, we'll talk about the consequences later. But she lowers the price to
20 cents.
Good. And keep that in mind. Yes, there's something about that which has consequences. It's not without consequence. But then he does something else. After she lowers hers from 25 to 20 cents, he lowers his to 15 cents. And then she comes back and lowers hers again
to 10 cents. And then Jamal lowers his to 10 cents again. Megan comes and asks, what's going on?
Okay, so let's put ourselves in Megan's place. Megan comes up. Any of us could have come up and seen that there are 2 lemonade stands, both selling lemonade for 10 cents. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd be happy to buy a glass of lemonade for 10 cents. That's a really, really good price, isn't it?
Yeah, but think about them. They won't have enough. If they just sell it for that low of a price, first of all, they won't have enough money to buy what they want. Second of all, they won't have enough money to buy any more lemons and sugar for more lemonade to get more money to make a profit to buy the things they want.
That's a really good point. If they sell it for too cheap, they're not earning money. They're actually
losing money.
Yeah, so there are some consequences. Now, it's true they want to be competitive. They want to have a lower price, and definitely lowering your price does get you more customers. Like I said, I'd be happy to buy a bunch of 10-cent cups of lemonade, but if you make the price too low, it's not a good business model. There has to be a balance. It has to be affordable for people. The price has to be attractive to people. It has to be less than most people are charging, or at least the same as most people are charging.
What I would would do if I had a lemonade stand is I would probably sell the lemonade for 20 cents. So that's attractable, and I I would probably, before I set up that lemonade stand, I would buy a ton of lemons and sugar, I guess, for the lemonade.
Or buy as much as you need and then buy more the next day to make your next batch of lemonade. There are different ways to do it, but I think we can agree that you can't sell for too little. And if you're competing with other people, you can't sell for too much. There has to be a balance of attracting people with a good price and being able to earn the money you want to earn, not only so you could buy the nice things you're trying to get, but just so you could afford to replenish your stock. In this case, more lemons and more sugar. Now, I think that this story doesn't end that tragically. If I recall, Vicky and Jamal come to an agreement about what they're going to do.
They work together, so Jamal takes the order from Big Hank and his men at a local sports team. Vicky mixes up the lemon juice and the sugar, and you would be and also just something else. You would be thinking you could just sell lemon juice, but no. If you sell pure lemon juice, it'll make you pucker. It's
worse than Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, it's worse.
Yeah, it's not pleasant to drink pure lemon. You want to put some water in there and some sugar doesn't hurt. Or in my case, I like to mix lemon juice with iced tea, and a lot of people like to put that combination: lemon juice, sugar, and tea. And Arnold Palmer's, as they're often called.
I love Arnold Palmer's.
Don't we all? So those are some really interesting things about what we read. Now we're going to keep on reading about money more this week. So keep thinking about it. And if you don't have either this or this, talk to your folks about it, and just think about money, because it's not just what we're dealing with right now with the social studies and language arts. It connects to math. It kind of brings everything together. All these subjects that you're trying to master and get to grade level with all sort of converge on money. Money is where everything seems to meet in this world. And that's probably why we hear our parents talk about money so often, because it's something that is important in all of our lives. It's something that we should be aware of and know more about, and it just the skills that go into understanding it, of understanding how our society works, understanding math, and understanding good literature like the Lemonade Standoff. Wouldn't you agree? All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Bye. Like and subscribe.